I was in Banks County, Georgia, and back in that day, they would not forbid you from going into a school and preaching the gospel. And so I would sometimes substitute teach, and they knew what I was going to do. I was going to come in and just talk and dialogue with the students about salvation and about God. And they needed that. Well, one day, one of the physical education instructors, one of the coaches there, asked me to come in and speak to an FCA meeting. Now, the FCA meeting was there, made everything legal and all that, but it was really a physical education class. And so you get the picture here just for a moment. When I come and preached at Broad River Baptist Church and some of these other churches, the Vineyards Creek Baptist Church and the Webbs Creek Baptist Church, all these small churches I was preaching in, including, by the way, this church, most of you are, if you're not believers, at least you know you're in church. And where you might be offended by something I say and walk out, you're not going to start throwing things usually. At least that's never happened. So if I had one kid throw a shoe at me one time, but I don't think he meant anything by it. I don't think. No, you think I'm kidding. VBS commencement. He was right there on the second row in that other building. He had his shoe, and he came up to right here and just hurled it up on stage, right in the middle of my sermon. That's the only time I've ever had anything thrown at me. And so I'm going in now to a hostile environment. This is just a PE class. I got all kinds of people in there. And I said, God, I'm kind of nervous about this. 25 years old, never really done things like street preaching or anything like that, where it's a hostile environment. I don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe they'll all get up and walk out. Maybe they'll get so bored and moan and all this kind of stuff, or try to distract me in some way. I've had that in a couple of classes that I'd taught. But boy, now I'm up here with all these people. And God, I tried to kind of get out of it. I tried to talk my way out of it. Maybe I can get somebody else. Maybe I can call in. Maybe I'll get sick that day. But I didn't get sick, so I couldn't do anything. And so finally, I just really started praying about it. And a real courage came over me. And I can't really explain it, but I walked up in front of all those people after being introduced, and the power of God's Spirit came over me so much, it just enveloped the place. And for the next 20 minutes, I shared the plan of salvation, just like I've shared it many, many times before, where it did not have that kind of effect. And I don't know what came over me, because usually what I'll do is say, okay, every head bowed, every eye closed, pray this prayer with me, and then if you really meant that prayer, come and see me afterwards. I'll be hanging out. I didn't do that at all. We just ended on a crescendo of some type, and I said, okay, I turned to the coach, I said, is the bathroom, is the men's locker room empty? And he said, yeah. I said, anybody wants to get saved, come follow me. And I turned around and started walking. He said, man, wonder if nobody would have followed you. Well, I'd have failed. So that's the fear. But because of the presence of God was there, I just knew that wasn't going to happen. Now, I wasn't prepared for what was going to happen. And if you've seen the movie Woodlawn, story of Tony Nathan, running back, and Sean Astin standing up in front of those football players, and everybody came forward but three people, I turned to my wife and I said, that happened to me. That happened to me. Because when I turned around and started walking, I felt people, the bleachers creaking a little bit, and as I began to walk, I turned around. Everybody was following me except for three guys in the whole class. It was the presence of God that gave me that kind of courage. Not just to stand up there, but to say, you come follow me. I've never done that since, not once. It's a God thing. The presence of God will give you courage. Well, what is physical vertigo? Well, it's when your brain cannot process what your eyes are seeing. So what is spiritual vertigo? Spiritual vertigo is when your faith cannot process what you see.